Story 1. This happened just yesterday, and my wife thinks it's appropriate to share here. I was shopping at that inexpensive family clothing store named after a military branch, you know the one. The store was mostly empty because it was the middle of the afternoon and because of the ongoing health situation. Most people weren't out shopping without a specific reason. I was looking for some jeans at the front of the store because they were on sale. Mind you, I was actually wearing a pair of jeans, a plaid shirt, a vest, and a mask that all could have been from the store. As I was searching for my size, a lady approached with her phone to her ear and her mask in her hand. I paused what I was doing and looked over at her. Lady, do you know where the men's athletic shorts are? Me, no. Lady, can you ask someone? Me, no. Lady, don't you work here? Me, no. Lady, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Why didn't you say so? Me, because I was trying to figure out why you wouldn't put down your phone and put on your mask when talking with a stranger in public. The lady's face went from confused to horribly embarrassed. She immediately turned bright red, put on her mask, mumbled sorry, and headed straight out the door without buying any shorts. I found jeans in the right size and headed to the checkout behind me. The cashier had these big smiling eyes, and I could tell she was smiling behind her mask. She told me, "The look on that lady's face was priceless. Have a great day." Story 2. Just a story from a few hours ago. I'm going to omit most of the details as this thing just dragged on for 30 minutes, if not longer, and all it was explaining to a woman that I can't go into the stockroom. As well, you might have guessed it from the subreddit. I don't work here, lady. Alright, so it's been raining a lot recently, and I do not have an umbrella, and I've been meaning to get one for about 2 years now, because it often rains whenever I'm working, and it'd be nice to have a day where I can stay somewhat drier than I usually end up being. I live with 3 friends, and we rent a 3-bedroom place together. Now, my 2 friends both have umbrellas, I do not. So today I decided, since I'd finished work early and it was still dry out, I could quickly walk to the supermarket and buy an umbrella for myself for when it rains. It was a 20-minute long walk to the store. Normally it takes about 5 minutes. But I forgot my mask like an idiot and had to double back for one item, the umbrella, only it started raining. Heavily, I was drenched from head to toe, but I was determined to buy an umbrella. Now, the umbrellas are located pretty much near the main entrance and can't be 30 steps away from the doors. I was dripping wet, so I headed into the bathroom to use the built-in hand dryers to dry my shirt off for like 5 minutes and just generally get a bit warmer. Eventually, I walked out, no longer dripping, and walked over to the umbrellas, which were about 10 steps away. I picked up one lone umbrella out of like 100, popped it open just to see how big it was. There are different sizes in the boxes from small, medium, and large. The tag for size was on the inside. Then closed it. Almost like magic, poof, a Karen was standing in front of me and asked me, or rather told me, "Hey you, give me that, I want to try it out." To which I replied, "Sorry, lady, I'm only here for this. There are plenty more literally next to you." To which she yelled, "I wanted that one you have. It's pink and I want it." Okay, first of all, it was a plain black one. Anybody with eyes could see that much. "Lady, you can see this is all black, right?" She yelled at me again, "Liar, go get me your manager. I want you fired for not letting me purchase that umbrella." There was a customer service desk literally behind me where there was a manager, who straight away walked over and asked, "What's the problem here?" "He won't give me that pink umbrella he's holding. I stashed it away so I could come back for it, and he's stealing it from me." The manager scratched his beard, then his head, and said, "Ma'am, that's black. In fact, they're all black. We only stock plain black umbrellas here unless it's a kid's one, which are rainbow colored." I sighed, popped it back open, spun it around, and just said, "Look at the umbrella, lady. It's black." She stuttered, confused, and said, "Well, where's the pink one you just had before that?" Manager, "Listen, ma'am, there are no pink ones, just plain black ones." Right next to you, he was visibly getting annoyed. "Now, I'm sorry if you've somehow misplaced or lost a pink umbrella in some other store, but it definitely wasn't this one." I went to turn away and go pay for the umbrella when she grabbed me, spun me around, and said, "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you go check the back for me? I know there's a pink umbrella in here somewhere. It was right here about 10 minutes ago before you walked up." "What? I don't work here, lady. What made you think I worked here? And what makes you think I would go to the back to check for you, even if I did after you just yelled at me?" Karen: "Well, the customers are always right. So chop chop, come on, go look for me." This is where the manager, Karen, and I went around and around in circles for like 30 minutes, telling her I can't go back there. I don't work here. He can't fire me. I'm a customer as well. In the end, the manager just told me to go look in the back, then whispered to me to just walk past her and head to the checkout. He said James, the manager, gave me a code to enter for 50% off the umbrellas were only pound 2.50 anyway, so I just accepted it. I got to the checkout, gave the code, got my 50% discount that I didn't need, a new story for Reddit, oh, and a scratch card which I won £1.20 on, and walked on home in the rain, completely forgetting I just bought an umbrella and didn't open it on the way. Major facepalm. Story 3. Years ago, as a teen, I worked at a pet store that had dark forest green polos for their uniform. The grocery store across from my apartment complex also had dark forest green polos for their uniforms. As that's where I shopped, I got a lot of people asking me for help. To be fair, while our logo was huge across our backs, it was tiny on the front, so I often got approached from the front or side by people asking for assistance. I knew the store pretty well, so most of the time I would just point them in the right direction or help them get an item off a high shelf. My previous job had been at a different grocery store, so I would even occasionally help bag groceries for people if the line was long and I was impatient. They always seemed to have a lack of baggage clerks. Anyway, one day I was only buying soda, and an older lady had a full cart in front of me. This was way before self-checkouts, and no express lines were open. So I put my soda on that little pull-out thing registers have and started bagging this woman's like 100 plus items. I chit-chatted with both the cashier and the lady for a bit while I worked. Finally, I got everything in her cart and asked if she needed help out. She said no, her husband was waiting outside and would help her load it. I told her to have a great day. At this point, a woman walks up in a store uniform. She smiles at me as the cashier starts to ring me up. "Hi, I can't remember her name, so let's call her Mary. That was some really good customer service." "Oh, thanks. I don't think too much of it," as the cashier tells me my total. I pull out my wallet to pay. "You're off work?" she asks, eyebrows raised. "Oh yeah, just going home." "Wow. What's your name?" I tell her. "That's fantastic. Even helping our customers after your shift has ended." Light bulbs slowly start to come on in my head. I haven't gotten a chance to meet all of our employees yet, but if they're anything like you, this is going to be a great store to work at. Turns out Mary was a transferred supervisor from another store and was trying to meet all the employees. I laughed, not in a mean way, just was surprised. I pointed to the small logo on my shirt. She started to turn a little red. Not much, but a hair. I apologized for the confusion and just told her that I don't mind helping out when I can. "Well, you're not by chance looking to change jobs, are you? I could really use people like you here." I declined as I liked my job and I was reasonably sure it paid better. But for the next year and a half until I moved and changed stores, anytime Mary saw me, she would always say hi and ask if I'd changed my mind on her offer. Story 4. I recently started working as a school bus aide, where I helped work with special needs students so the driver could focus on driving and only intervene when necessary. Our bus barn was located across from our high school career center, and the bus drivers and aides frequently parked here before our routes, as we had no parking too many buses, so they overflowed in the employee lot. My afternoon route started at about 3 o'clock, but I arrived at around 2:45 to inspect my bus. We had wheelchair equipment and special seat belts that needed to be checked daily. I am wearing an orange polo school colors and a school mascot hat as it is School Spirit Day. As I am walking across the street to the bus barn, that's when I hear him. The principal of the technical center was yelling, "Hey, stop right there." I was new, so I complied, thinking I may have parked improperly. It is only 2:45. Where do you think you are going? It's only the first week. I realize that I look like a high schooler. I am in my 20s, and he thinks I am ditching class. I laugh and reach for my work ID. Me. I'm sorry, sir, I work across the street. Here. I go to show him my badge, and I realize I left it on my bus on the morning route. Principal. Well. He is getting agitated. Me. I'm sorry, I must have left it. Principal. I don't need to see your paperwork or ID. But you are coming with me, and I am writing you a detention slip. Me, no longer smiling. Sir, I am not a student here. Principal. It doesn't matter. Which school do you go to? The Career Center hosted students across the county. Me, I don't. Principal. So you are homeschooled then? Me. No, sir. I work across the street, and I am going to be late for my route soon. I take a few steps back towards the bus barn, where my driver sees me and honks, clearly annoyed that I wasn't on board. Principal. I am so sorry. I didn't recognize you. You must be a new aide. I'm Mr. Principal. We shake hands and laugh. I ask him if I can still get that detention slip, and he just laughs. I quickly cross the street and board my bus. My driver, who is amazing, asks what was taking me so long. I am known to be talkative. It appears I now have detention for skipping class. My driver starts cracking up, and I ask her if I can stay clocked in for detention. We have a good laugh about it and run our route. When we finish dropping off the last students, she looks me dead in the eyes and says, "So should I go to the high school for your detention, or can you drive yourself?" To this day, anytime I mess with her, she threatens to give me detention. Story 5. So there's a nice country shop near me, 26, female. It sells all sorts of nice shirts and everyday stuff as well as high-end country brands and coats, etc. It was my day off and payday, so I wanted to go and treat myself. So I decided to dress up nicely in a pale blue shirt and some jeans with some boot heels, coincidentally a brand they stocked. I felt pretty good. Notably, the shop doesn't have a uniform. The staff have to wear brand clothing and are always greeting you and stuff, so they're obvious. Now, previously I've worked in retail, so I feel for the staff when the shop looks like it's been ransacked and people just ruin all the neat folds and throw coats back wherever. So there I was minding my own business, trying on a jacket. Decided I need another size. So I zipped up the one I just tried and put it back on the rail. Then some angry Karen stood there like right over my shoulder, like personal space isn't a thing. Me. Oh, sorry. Were you wanting to look at these? Karen. No. I've been standing here trying to get your attention for the last 5 minutes. I need this in another size. Can't believe how rude the staff is here. You can see I'm standing here holding the jacket. I just assumed this lady was shopping and had the jacket in hand because she wanted to buy it. Did not get a vibe at all. Me. Oh, sorry. No, I don't work. Karen. I mean, preferably I'd like it in a navy if you have it. Thrust jacket towards me. Me. Look, I do not work here. You can practically see the cogs turning at this point. Rather than apologizing, she goes on a tirade. Karen. Well, why are you dressed like you work here? Me. Excuse me. Literally, we are in a clothes shop. There is no uniform. I'm not wearing a badge. Karen. Well, it's just plain misleading. It's so inconsiderate. By this point, a retail assistant walks over all smiles and asks can she help with any sizes or anything. Karen points to me. Karen. Does she work here? Me, visible confusion. Retail assistant. No, sorry. Karen. Then why is she dressed like she does? Both the assistant and I were just lost for words. I gave her a few stern words after she then started using strong language at the employee. The girl was on the brink of tears. Karen stormed out saying she was going to leave a terrible review. I apologized on behalf of Karen and for losing them her custom. The retail assistant reappeared with the manager 2 minutes later, who laughed and praised me for handling it diplomatically. He offered me a 10% goodwill discount on anything I chose as well as a job. I've worked there for 2 years now. Never saw Karen again.